Yes. So we'll continue again. Last point we have seen what are the regular activities or major responsibilities of DBA we have discussed actually. Yeah. This is the last point we have seen major responsibilities of DBA. The summary we have discussed that our regular job is what monitoring and troubleshooting, right? Yes. So that's why as a DBA remember regularly, we have to monitor the servers. We have to, if any issues are there, we need to troubleshoot. Okay. That is like monitoring and troubleshooting is our one of our regular job. Right. Check here we'll go next point. We'll check here here we have various versions are there. Previously also we have seen very briefly. Check here first time Microsoft SQL Server was released in the markets here in the 1989. Okay, so already we have discussed briefly at the beginning. It was the product of Microsoft and Sybase. Later here from 4.21 onwards, I think Microsoft has they got complete rights on SQL Server. Sybase they have developed their own product, Sybase. Okay, right. So various versions are there here till now, and we know already our latest version is what 2019 version, which is a 15.0 version. 15.0 version, 2019 version, latest version. Okay, yes. So, but already we have seen in the production environment, we have to work with different versions. Okay, directly we are not working with 2019. Maybe some clients are using 2019, some clients are using 2014. Here 2014 is very successful version. That's why still some clients are going with what 2014 version, which is a 12.0 version. 12.0 versions here, very successful version. Okay, we have seen like to connect and work with SQL Server, we are using one tool, Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, right? Yes, check here. Okay, here we can connect to the server. It may be local server or remote server. Yeah. So we can see here 15.0 version means 2019 version. Okay. Okay, one of our server is there. Have to check. It is also 2019 server. Right. So like this, like servers may be there any location, any place. We can connect through SSMS. We can start working with SSMS, right? SQL Server Management Studio, right? So in the same way, if different versions are there, here SQL Server. So any version, remember, from SQL Server 2005 onwards, we are using the same tools here, SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio, to connect and work with SQL Server. The same tool. Okay, so that's why working environment, everything is same up to 2019. Only features difference is there. Okay, so for DBS, remember in 2019 some new features are there, 2014 some new features are there, 2016 like this year, different features. That's why in the interview purpose also we have to understand. So yeah, directly we are not working with 2019 only. Tomorrow in the industry, we will work with different versions. Okay, that's why in the interview they will ask, yeah, so we are working with, what are the features are there in 2019, 2016, 2017 for DBAs. Okay, so generally we have development related features, okay, BI, right, business intelligence related features, and our admin related features, DBA related features here, different types. But we should know our DBA related features only, administration related features only. Right, right. So already we know, like, directly we can identify by checking the version number here, or we can identify by using what simple command. Okay, we are working with which version? Check here. Here SQL Server 2019 versions here. Right. So yeah, that is like with which version we are working, we can verify. Next here, SQL Server components. Basically, remember every RDBMS, not only SQL Server, every RDBMS supports two types of components. Okay, one is remember workstation components. Workstation components are nothing but remember tools, okay, through which we are connecting and working with SQL Server. Workstation components. Generally, we have seen workstation components. This SSMS is there. SSMS is what? One of a tool through which we can connect to one or more servers we can start working with. Okay, that's why remember SSMS is one of a free tool. That's why we can work with SSMS regularly. Understood, right? Yes, yes. So yeah, that's why we it is even we can work with command prompt also. From command prompt also we can connect and work with, but it is easy to work with by using here. Easy to work with SSMS here. We can work easily. Okay, graphically we can do the activities through command also we can perform. Okay, in general, remember whenever we run this query, see whenever the user runs this query, immediately remember this SSMS, whenever we type this command, once we click on the execute button. Okay, so immediately remember this SSMS tool will submit this command to SQL Server in the background. Okay, we can say SQL Server or SQL Engine or SQL Instance, all are same. Check here in the background, it submits the command to SQL Server. Okay, this SQL Server process the command, we are getting the result back here. SQL Server is processing the command, we are getting the result back. That's why remember we have to understand here, SSMS is just a tool through which we can connect and work with SQL Server. SSMS is like our browser, right? Like Internet Explorer is there, Firefox is there, Chrome is there. So by using Google Chrome, what we can do, we can connect to Gmail server, we can start working with, right? Gmail.com. Okay, once we close SSMS, okay, just we are disconnecting from the server, right? Server is running, other people, others are working. We are just disconnecting from the server. Same thing, remember, once we close this SSMS, for example, just we are disconnecting from this server, other users can continue their work. Understood, right? Yes, that's why don't get any confusion. Just SSMS is a tool through which we are connecting and working with the SQL Server. Okay, SQL Server is nothing but remember SQL Engine. Okay, or basically remember this SQL Server or SQL Engine is nothing but remember a collection of services. Mainly we have two services are there. Suppose let's say here the server name is here. Yes, RV1 here. This is my system name slash SRV1 server name. That's why yeah, we can understand here in bracket SQL Server in bracket we have SRV1. Okay, means what? Whenever we type this command, once we click on the execute button, see here, immediately SSMS will send this command to this service, SQL Server service. This SQL Server service will process the command. We'll get the result back. Just remember, server components are nothing but what? Services. Our main service is SQL Server service. See, tomorrow, stop the server, start the server, restart the server means what? We have to stop this service, start this service, restart this service. Understood, right? Yes. Just remember every query. Just remember whenever we submit the command, yeah, through SSMS or through some front-end part, some Java application, .NET application, that query, okay, that command is executed in the background by which service? This SQL Server service, which is our main service. Okay, yes, that's remember, always remember SQL Server service must be in running mode always in the production environment. Okay, that's why if SQL Server service is not running, users cannot connect, users cannot work. Understood, right? This SSMS comes under tools or workstation components. This SQL Server service comes under server components. Okay, server components. Yeah, suppose here like if I close SSMS, then SQL Server is down. SQL Server will stop. True or false? Ram. If I close this SSMS, for example, then SQL Server is down. False, correct. Why? Because see, close means what you are already we have seen. This SSMS is like a browser. If you close your Google Chrome, it's not meaning that Gmail server is down, right? Yes, that's why if want to, yeah, correct. We are connecting remotely to the server, correct? Yes. So that's why if want to stop the server, if want to restart the server, we have to use this SQL Server service. We have to understand. That's why that is the reason here from SQL Server 2014 up to 2014, both SSMS plus engine. Engine is nothing but what? Collection of services. This is our main service. Both remember SSMS tool plus SQL engine. Both can be installed at a time up to 2014. But remember from 2016 onwards, it is a two-step process. From 2016 onwards, it is a two-step process. Okay, means what? Like first we have to install database engine first. SQL engine we have to install first. Okay. After installing SQL engine, we'll get these services: SQL Server service, SQL Server agent service. Okay. Then we have to install this SSMS tool as a second step. Second step is what? Install SSMS tool. Then we can start working with. We can start practicing in our laptops here. First, we have to install what? Database engine, SQL engine. Okay. After installing SQL engine or database engine, then remember we have to install what? Yeah, SSMS. Okay, so that is like a two-step process we have to understand. Okay, just what I will do, I will show you basic installation. I will show you today. Later we'll see custom installation. Means in real time how we are doing installation. We'll see later. First, I will show you basic installation so that you can start practicing. Okay, in your laptop. Okay, yes. Check here. Very simple steps are there to install SQL Server. In real time how we are doing installation later we'll see. Okay, but basic installation I will discuss here. Check here, go to SQL Server 2019. See here. Yeah, if you have Windows 10 machine, for example, directly you can install SQL Server 2019. Go to this link. Okay, yeah, try SQL Server 2019. See here. Okay. Okay, where do you want to install SQL Server? It is asking. You want to install in on-premises environment, means in your laptop or in your server, or in the cloud, it is asking. See? Okay, I want to install in my laptop, in my server, SQL Server on-premises here, free trial. Okay, very simple steps are there here. Okay, which version you want to install? It is asking here very clearly. 2019 you want to install, 17, 16, 14 here. These are here, all these are evaluation editions here, evaluation editions here, which are 180 days free editions. Means what? It works for what? 180 days. After that, the SQL Server will not work. Okay, basically remember for testing purpose, for checking whether the product is suitable for us or not, we can use here this evaluation edition. Okay, yeah, which version we want, click here, select exe. Okay, why? Because in my local laptop I want to install exe. This is for what? Cloud platform. Microsoft Azure is there here, one of a cloud platform. Continue. Right. Now just here fill the information. Some details we can fill here. Some details we can fill here. Okay. Any detail, just you type what you want. Just okay. Right. Some details. Yes. Continue. Okay. Check your installation startup file is downloaded here. See, just click on that. Yeah, check here first. What do you want? It is asking. Okay, you want to go with basic installation or custom installation, or you want to download the software. See here. If you download the software, we can do later installation. I will show you this one later. First, we'll go with the basic installation so that you can start practicing. Okay. Yes. Select this. I accept. Default path is there. Here, C program files, Microsoft SQL Server. Default path. Okay. Yes. So click on install button. First, it is downloading here, 1426 MB. Then it starts installation. Okay, right. So we can go with the default path. Later we'll see in real time how we are doing installation. Just here, click on install button. So it started downloading. Once it is downloaded successfully, then it starts installation process. Already we have seen from 2017 onwards, SQL Server works in any platform now from 17 onwards. So it may be Windows or Linux or Mac, any platform. Okay, that is the one more reasons here. Today, most of the clients they have started using SQL Server. Okay. Yeah, download was done successfully. No installation process is going on. Basically, remember what exactly it is installing. SSMS or SQL engine is installing now. Check what we are installing right now. Yeah, SQL Server we are installing, means SQL engine we are installing. We have to understand. Okay, once SQL engine is installed successfully, then we can install SSMS. After that, we can start practicing. Okay, yes, yes, so going on, installation is going on. So it may take some time, 3 to 5 minutes time. After that, the instance or installation finish. Then we can download SSMS. We can start installation. That is a two-step process we have to understand. Okay, it is running. Okay, maybe first time in your machine it may take some more time, but already in my machine some components are already installed. That's why it is taking less time, 3 to 5 minutes maximum. Okay. Yeah, one question is there. This can be installed in any laptop. Yes, Janani. Do we need any special prerequisites? No need. We'll see later once again. What are the prerequisites are there? Just if you have Windows 10 machine is there, laptop is there with you, you can do the installation. Okay, we can do 2017 also, any version. Okay, check here like installation is success, it is saying. Yeah, check here. Installation has completed successfully. Okay, right. So check here, it is showing instance name MS SQL Server 07. See here, summary it is showing, installation summary. Check here, instance name MS SQL Server 07. I am the administrator, means current user. Currently have login into the laptop by using my name. I am the administrator. What features are installed? SQL engine is installed. Okay, which version? 15.0 version. Okay, right, right. Now remember, after that, once the engine is ready, then we have to click on here, install SSMS. Even we can connect through command prompt, we can work also temporarily. But here, install SSMS. Same thing, it is navigating to Microsoft website. We can download SSMS from here. See, download SQL Server Management Studio. Once we click here, immediately it starts downloading. Already it is there in my laptop. See here, 635 MB it is showing. 18.9.1 is there, for example. Immediately started here downloading. Once it is downloaded successfully, then just run the setup. Okay, 2-3 steps are there. Before running that setup, SSMS setup, first we have to close this setup. Close this, yes. Then remember, we can run the SSMS setup. Okay, very simple steps are there. Just 2-3 steps are there. Same thing, it will take the path, default path, C program files. Some default path it will take. Then just click on install button. Installation is success. Okay, yes. So once the installation is done successfully, okay, once the installation is done successfully, now remember, now we can open SSMS. Just 2-3 steps are there, you can do the installation. There is no big deal. So once the download is completed, still it is downloading. Okay, once the download is completed successfully, then we can start the installation process. Just by running the setup, we can start installation process. 2-3 steps. Okay, yes, right. So after that, once the SSMS is installed successfully, then what you can do? Then you can start installation of. Then you can start working with SQL Server. See, after SSMS installed, just type here SSMS. It is showing here. Okay. We'll see after 1-2 classes custom installation and how to uninstall from control panel. All those things we'll see later. Okay, right. Okay, yeah, check here. Okay, server name. Server names here. SRV1. Okay, by default it is showing, but just now we have installed with what name? MS SQL Server 07 it was showing, right? MS SQL Server 07 it was showing. Okay, so MS SQL Server 07 it is showing here server name. Okay, right. So check here, browse for more database engine. We can see the last ones here. latest installation is listed here, see, as a last instance name, MSSC system name slash MS SQL Server 07. Okay, yeah, connected here successfully, but it is a fresh instance, right? There are no databases here. Only we have some system databases. There are no user databases, only system databases are there. So this is your SQL Server is our main service we have seen, which process the queries. This agent is there here. Agent is for automation. Okay, means what? If want to schedule any activity, remember we are using this agent actually. Under agent we have jobs are there. By using jobs we can schedule. Okay, means job is basically, remember, for what purpose? To schedule the activities. Means what? Daily backup should be generated daily morning 3 o'clock, for example. Okay, so in that case what we can do, we can create a job, we can schedule the jobs here. Understood, right? Yes. So that is like SQL Server agent is there, which is basically for scheduling the tasks. Okay, right. So that's remember SQL Server service is our main service which process the queries. Agent is for what purpose? For scheduling purpose. And we know already as a database administrator, as a database administrator, our regular job is what? Uh, Maintenance, right? So most of the tasks are automated. As admin, remember, most of the tasks are automated here, right? That is the reason, say, like that automation is implemented by which service? Agent service. That's when we can say indirectly, SQL Server service is for the users, agent is for DBAs, right? As a DBA, we can implement our administrative activities, remember, by using this agent service. Okay. Yes, that's why in production server, remember, both the services SQL Server agent, both the services must be running always. Compulsory, remember, both the services must and should be running always. Okay, so uh, yeah, so that's like we have to understand how we are installing SQL Server with basic installation. Two-step process we have seen. First step is installing SQL engine. Second step is what? Installing SSMS. Okay, two-step process. Right. Just in the in your laptop, you can try to install this one by following the same steps later. Okay, once you are free, yeah, after this class, you can try the installation. Okay. One file was there, module one. I will share you later. Right. So, okay, yes. Check it. That is like how we are doing say basic installation. How we are going with what basic installation. Okay. Right. Next here, that is the two types of components we have seen: workstation components and server components. Right. Next one, see, like we'll see brief introduction to SQL. Already we know every RDBMS uses what? SQL commands to work with. right? That's why we have to understand SQL is one of a common database language supported by every RDBMS, right? So it may be SQL Server or Oracle. Any RDBMS uses which command? SQL commands. Okay, just here structured query language. Initially, it was developed by IBM, but it is now open source language actually. Open source language means what? Any company can use what? SQL Server in their products. Tomorrow, let's say my company is going to develop some RDBMS product, for example. In that RDBMS product, I can use these SQL commands directly. Why? Because open source language, no need of any licensing. Right, right. So next year, like non-procedural language, why? Because only commands are there here. We can't write the programs. That's why we are calling it as here non-procedural language. Okay, right. So next year, like common database language supported by every RDBMS. Already we have seen case insensitive language, right? Means what? It is not case sensitive. We can write the commands in any case, uppercase, lowercase, any case here. Case insensitive language. Right. This is like application is it whenever the user or application submits the request to SQL Server. SQL Server works with the data present in the database by using that SQL command. Okay, it may be select or update or delete any command. That's why we have to understand here. SQL Server is a interface between what? Between the user and database, right? That's why SQL Server is a software product. But remember, actually data is there where? In the database. See, tomorrow if SQL Server is crash, if SQL Server is crash, any data loss is there or no data loss is there? If SQL Server is crash, check from any data loss is there or no data loss? If SQL Server is crash, Kiran, yeah, no loss. Why? Because, yeah, yes. That's remember there is no data loss. Why? Because actually data is there here in the database, but downtime is there. If there is no standby server, right, secondary server, users will not work. Downtime is there. Business loss will be there to the users. Okay, right. But remember tomorrow, if a database is crash, for example, if database is crash, then there might be data loss scenario. But in general, in 99.9999%, there is no data loss scenario here also. But there might be data loss scenarios. Yeah, correct. Means if standby is there, already we have seen to avoid the business loss scenario. If server is down, we are maintaining what? Standby. Immediately applications will start working with the standby. Yes, check it. That's why, see, database is important for us. Means what? Providing security for our database, taking regular backups of this database, right? Monitoring its health of the database, monitoring how it is growing daily. Okay, so those things are very important for us, right? So and here in general we know already in a database how the data is stored. See, in database, remember we have some structures are there here. table is there, right? In general, we know data is stored in the form of rows and columns, right? Generally, we know in database, data is stored in the form of rows and columns, right? So that is like in the form of tables. But remember, we have to understand here in SQL Server, data is stored in the form of rows and columns. And the second point we have to understand here, we have storage levels are there actually, like logical level, physical level mainly. So basically, remember, a database is logically collection of objects. Objects are basically what? Mainly tables. Physically collection of files. Here also remember, physically means on hard disk. Data is there in the form of what? Files. We have to understand. Physically remember, in hard disk data is stored permanently in the form of files. Okay. So table is logical one. Logical means what? Which is created in buffer cache. But physically data is stored permanently in the form of files. Two types of files are there in every database: data file and transaction log files. Okay, data files and transaction log files. Two types of files are there. We'll see that in detail about with architecture everything. In detail, we'll see architecture everything. Okay, right. This is like we can understand here how the transaction flow is happening, and yeah, table is logical one, file is physical one. For example, check here. Just now we have installed SQL Server. Some system databases are created. Okay, here master is there. SP help DB master means what? Master database details I am checking. See here, two files are there here. MDF file is there, which is our data file. LDF file is there, which is our log file. See here, right? That's why remember, by default, whenever we create a new database, remember, by default data, yeah, it is created with two files, MDF file and LDF file. Okay, right. Check here, like for example, here this is my, yeah, data is there here. See, in the form of data files. This is my data file. For example, permanently, we'll see again. This is my, which is our physical level. Physical level. This is my buffer cache. Nothing but what? RAM. Buffer cache or RAM. Okay. So whenever the user runs any query, this is my SQL Server software. For example, whenever the user submits any request here, select command. Okay, when user is trying to select the data from some table. First time, remember, our SQL Server will check for the data in buffer cache, nothing but RAM. First it is checking this query related data is there or not in what? Buffer. Okay, nothing but RAM, we have to understand. So no data found. For example, just now we have started SQL Server, buffer is empty. SQL Server buffer cache is empty. Okay, just remember, understand, very important for us how the transaction flow is happening. What are these two levels? Buffer cache level, nothing but logical level. This is physical level. No data is there. Then it will search for the same record in which file? Data file. Okay, in data file the record found. Okay, it will take that data into buffer. We'll see later in detail practically. just high level overview I'm discussing. It will take the data from physical file into buffer cache. From there, data SQL server will send the data to the user. See results here. Okay, that's why remember. That's why remember. Like next time remember same query. One more user is running the same query next time. For example, same thing, command is submitted to SQL Server, checking for the data. SQL Server is checking for the data in the buffer cache. Already data is there, right? Yes, already data is there. Directly it will pick the data. It will send to the users here. Next time onwards. Means what? Next time onwards, directly it is displaying the data from buffer cache. Directly if it is displaying the data from buffer only. No need to go to data file again and again, right? Yes, just remember reading data from this buffer cache or RAM is called here logical IO. Logical IO, nothing but logical input output. Logical means what? From buffer. Whereas remember, reading data from this physical file or data file, reading data from data file or physical file is called physical IO. Physical IO here. Okay, so that's why remember first time yeah, whenever we restart SQL Server, remember this buffer cache is erased. So buffer cache is empty, right? It is RAM, right? Yes, just remember whenever we restart SQL Server, buffer cache is empty. Okay, right. So after restarting SQL Server, remember buffer cache is empty. Empty. That's why remember whenever we run the query first time, whenever the user runs the query after restarting SQL Server first time, physical IO happens or logical IO happens first time after restarting the server. Germany. After restarting SQL Server, whenever the user is trying to select the data, first time physical IO happens or logical IO? Yeah, physical IO. Why? Because first time there is no data here in buffer, right? Buffer is erased. That's why first time it will go to data file, pick the data and store in the buffer. From here, next time onwards, data is displayed directly from here. That's a very, very important point we have to understand. Any query, maybe select or update or delete, any query works in buffer only. Selecting from buffer, updating the records here, deleting the records here. Later, those changes are written back to data file permanently. Later. Understood this diagram, everyone, or any confusion is there? Feel free if any simple doubts are there, you can ask me. Okay, no need to worry. It's clear, right? All the people. Yeah, very good. Other people, Kiran, Ram, we have two people, Ram, MB, Ram. Sheikh, it is clear. Okay, okay. Yeah, this one I will show you again practically in module 2 in detail, practically. Logical IO, physical IO, everything I will show you logically, practically, sorry, in second module. Yeah, correct. Plan cache and data cache will be there in the buffer cache in this part. We'll see various parts will be there here in buffer cache. Correct. Yeah. So that is like yes, Kiran. Yes, that's like very important point we have learned today. This is an important point for us. Okay. Installation, we have seen basic installation we have discussed. Second one is what? Two types of components we have seen: workstation components and server components we have seen. Okay. SSMS is what? Just it is a tool which is a workstation component. SSMS. Right. After that, we have discussed this. What is logical I/O? What is physical I/O? We have seen, which is very important for us. Okay. Right. Right. So let's see what I will do. I will conclude the session again today. We'll continue in the tomorrow's class, next concept.